What is up, y'all? Hotato here, back with our first D2 build video. And as you saw in the intro, this build go boom. And it's an old fun build that we used to run back in Arc 3.0, where you do dodge punch with some of the reworks to Ascension, some of the new artifact mods. I think this is a really fun build for pretty hard content, running around content, kind of general, you name it. And you guys get into it, show me what you got. Let me know in the comments down below how you like to run it, and let's get into the build. So for our exotics, we got two to choose from. We can either run Assassin's Cowl for that invisibility, survivability, mobility, or we can run Liar's Handshake. This gives you healing and big money damage. Either which way, just depends on your playstyle. Some of the harder content, I find that Assassin's Cowl is a little bit better to use, at least with my playstyle, because I like to die a lot. But if you're a little bit better than me, maybe throw on Liar's Handshake so you can go blow up some of these Zephyrs. As for our subclass, I'm going to be running Arc, of course. With the new artifact mods for Season of the Heresy, it really tailors to the Arc subclass as opposed to running Prismatic. For our super, we can run Gathering Storm, of course, the best super in Arc, the biggest damages. But for the most part, you can actually use either of the three that you want, depending on your playstyle. You can go hack and slash with the Arc staff, or you can go a little bit mobility, blink around, Storm's Edge. For our abilities, we got Gambler's Dodge, of course, to get our melee back. Triple Jump, choose anyone you like. Combo Blow, of course, for the class ability and for the big damages. And for our grenade, I like to run Flashbang just to stun unstops. And then with one of our fragments, we can stun overloads. And then if you don't like Flashbang, because honestly, I actually blind myself a lot, you can run Pulse Grenade, Storm Grenade. Those are also viable options. For our aspects, we're going to be running Lethal Current and Ascension. Lethal Current helps with the extra lunge distance, helps with jolting, helps with blind. So again, this build will really help with stunning champions, mainly the unstops and the overloads. With Ascension, with the rework, you can actually get your melee back now when you use it. And on top of that, you get amplified. So that's damage reduction. You can make your teammates amplified as a support tool. And then you can jolt targets. Same scenario, jolting everyone around you, stunning overloads. Lots of damages coming around, building up that bolt charge too. For our fragments, we're going to be starting with Spark of Resistance, because you're going to be all up in their business. So you want to be as durable as possible while you up in there. Also begin running Spark of Feedback. Same scenario. Since you're all up in their business, you're going to be getting melee hit a lot. So if they can dish it out, you can dish it out a little bit harder. Spark of Shock. Like I told you about with the Blinding Grenade, this jolts targets, so now you can stun unstops and overloads with this. And for our last two fragments, these ones I would call a little bit more on the optional side. For Spark of Frequency, this helps because you're going to be doing a lot of melee hits, helps with some weapon enhancements, as well as building up more bolt charge, since you're amplified all the time. Spark of Ions, you get Ionic Trace pretty often, pretty quick, helps build bolt charge, gives you ability energy. But if you don't like any of these, you could also run, say for example, Spark of Amplitude, gives you an extra orb of power. You're going to be dodging around, picking up a lot of orbs, getting healing, grenades back, super energy, you name it. For our stats, we're going to run Tier 10 Resilience as our priority number 1. It's probably been like that for the last 2 years or so, just making sure you have the highest resilience possible. And then you want to spec into Discipline right after that to get our grenade energy back as quickly as possible. Last but not least, you want to run minimum 50 mobility. And if you can, might as well go to 100, because why not? We're hunters after all. For our armor mods, I like to go with our helmet with a Siphon mod, maybe running a arc sidearm, fusion rifle, depending on the activity with the surges, helps give you an extra orb of power. Dynamo, so when you do Ascension, when you dodge around enemies, which is going to happen more often than punching and killing enemies as opposed to hands-on, this will help give you a lot of super energy back. And then run a special ammo finder, since if you're running double specials or maybe you can run a heavy ammo finder as well. For our arms, I like running double impact induction as well as heavy handed so that you can get orbs of power on melee kills as well as your grenade energy on melee hits, kind of keeping that loop going to keep ability uptime. For our chest mods, activity specific, just run the resistances that keep you alive the most. For our legs, I like running innervation and recuperation, picking up an overpower, giving you health and grenade energy. And then maybe a scavenger mod. You can even run a surge mod, but this one's up to your discretion. For our class item, you want to get powerful attraction because you're going to be dodging around all the time, picking up all those orbs, getting grenade energy, getting heals, getting super energy. And then you also run Reaper because same scenario. Since you're dodging all the time, you're going to get an orb of power off of the next weapon kill. And if you have it, you can run a bomber as well. Same scenario, getting your grenade energy back as quickly as you can to have maximum ability uptime. For our weapons, I have run a 1-2 punch shotgun just for that extra damage while you're invis. Just get a little pop, pop, a little punch right in there, kind of blow up some champs, blow up some big, beefy, powerful enemies. Maybe a rocket sidearm, or even you could run a fusion rifle, just depending on the activity as you see fit. For me, I do enjoy the rocket sidearm. It's just a fun weapon. But again, just run whatever you like for this one. And for our heavy, I found that Leviathan's Breath has helped me with the GM this week. You could also run like Queensbreaker if you're doing maybe a dungeon. You could also run Thunderlord if you need more ad kill. Either which way, this build gives you a lot of flexibility to kind of spec into what your playstyle is really like. For our artifact mods, just run the champ specific ones in the first column. Definitely run everything arc related here. Overclock and load, dielectric, disruptor spike, photonic flare, because you're going to be doing lots of overload stunning with this, with all the jolting that you're doing. Flashover. You can even do Dreadful Finisher. This is pretty good, especially with Assassin's Cowl, because you get a finisher, you get your ammo, and you get invisibility. And if you finish a powerful combatant or higher, that's 15 seconds, baby. Run around invis, derping around, wanking it, you know what I'm saying? Depending on the weapons you're using, particle reconstruction could be great. You could also use elemental supercharger if you're using lots of arc for your super energy, and then definitely run defibrillating blast as well. And that's pretty much the build to get it set up. The loop goes, get a kill with your melee. You can either ascension or dodge, get another kill with your melee, and keep the loop going. The main thing you got to remember, though, is that if you pay attention to the text, lethal current only works when you dodge, not when you use your class ability like ascension. So got to pay attention to the text there. So when you ascend, you can then get jolted and all that fun stuff. And then when you punch, there's going to be no explosions, no boom, no nothing. But that can also help with not cucking yourself, as seen here. Oh, I'm dead. It's all good. So it gives you options to use either or. Sometimes you need to ascend yourself out of a situation. You might want that extra fragment slot, so you could run ascension. The old way you used to run this was with flow state, but I found that it's not as beneficial nor nearly as fun because dodging is only a small bit of it. But ascension, I mean, that gets you everywhere. Helicopter hunter, come on. And of course, always got to show the fit for this specific build. Decided to go with a little bit of a clean, armored, punch related, you know, got a heavy arm aesthetic for this one. Here's our fit for the Liar's Handshake. Kind of went with a Olympus, Zeus, lightning, bright yellow look aesthetic for this one. And that's dodge, punch, helicopter, punch, big boom, punch, hunter in a nutshell. If you like the video, you know what to do. Click that like button. And if you have some suggestions about the build, kind of tweaks, what you did to make it your own, what you find to make it a little bit better for certain seasonal content, put it down below. Let me know what you think. I'm always learning to improve. I'm not that great of a player. I just like sharing my love for Destiny with you all. So as always, if you want to see more of these videos, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.